As I was walking to Zion Park today and into Brownsville, I couldn't help but think of relatives of mine on my mother's side who were from Brownsville. And they lived here in the early 20th century. And I couldn't help but think, as I looked at the names on the wall here of those who died in action, that they may have been neighbors and friends of my relatives. So it really hit home that it's not just about us today memorializing, but it's remembering the past, and it's a lot closer than we know. Today, as we stand here, 91 years after this memorial was constructed in 1925, remembering more expansively those who lost their lives for America, not only in World War I, but also in each and every war, protecting the freedoms of our country. Our Memorial Day Remembrance ceremony. We stand here today in a Brownsville that is predominantly African American and Latino, on a monument that was constructed when Brownsville was predominantly Jewish, in a ceremony representing the unity and transition of neighborhoods over time, all together, honoring our uniformed service members of all backgrounds who served our country and never returned and are no longer with us. We stand here as many peoples, one neighborhood, many cultures, and one future together in America. I look to the wonderful children, yes, you scholars of Brownsville Ascend Charter School, and address these comments to you. In World War I worldwide, many millions of people, in most cases teenagers not much older than you, lost their lives fighting for their country. When we read the names later of those on the wall, remember that these great citizens of America who lived in this neighborhood, they fought and gave up their lives in that war to create a better world for us today, yes, for you and for me. The Brooklyn Jewish Historical Initiative was created a number of years ago, so stories like this that happened in Brooklyn could be remembered, and monuments like this brought back to life through these kinds of ceremonies. Through our website, www.brooklynjewish.org, all of this can be known to people throughout our region and throughout the world. We thank everyone who's worked so hard in making this ceremony a reality, and some and not all are listed in your program, and we thank the BID for doing that. I want to especially thank Erica Murphy, director of the Brownsville Ascend Charter School, Daniel Murphy of the Pitkin Avenue BID, and the persons who you'll be hearing next, Mark Jaffe, president of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce, and Terry Holliday, former New York City Commissioner of Veterans Affairs, who've been great partners. And so, I introduce you to Mark Jaffe.
Thank you, Howard. Howard did a great job, the Brooklyn Jewish Historical Initiative, in bringing this great event together. As I was coming over here today, all I could think about was what a great privilege it would be to be here. Fleet Week is kicking off, the summer is upon us, we're about to start a Memorial Day weekend, and we all love the weather for that. Isn't that great? But the mission today is to honor those who have served, veterans who are active, and those who made the ultimate sacrifice. I've been all around the world, and I've seen veterans from all walks of life, all races, all creeds. I've had the privilege to be at the Eternal Light Monument in New York City on Fifth Avenue and march up Fifth Avenue during the Veterans Day Parade, and again, see all the people that have served to make our country safe and free. I've also been to the Arlington National Cemetery and been to honor at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. War is a tough business, but freedom is not free. Today, though, today is a little more special. Today, we commemorate this Zion Park War Memorial as a place for those who have served and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. But we also are here to place it in its proper perspective in the community. This is a place to come and remember, not to be sad, but to remember the great service of the people, to bring together our veterans, to bring together our business leaders, to bring together our civic leaders, and to bring together our future. The Brownsville Ascend Charter School is right over there. And when I first came to this monument and saw the activity, it made my heart soar. And now, these children, with the help of their teachers and the help of all of you, will never forget what this memorial stands for. So today is a very special day. We are bringing together service, freedom, and our future. And isn't it a great place to be in Brownsville, Brooklyn today? And if any of you want to find out more about the events of Fleet Week or the Veterans Day Parade, you can go to our chamber website. It's the official New York City domain name, chamber.nyc. And we also have a simple, good old-fashioned phone number, 212-CHAMBER. And now I'd like to bring up Howard Teich from the Brooklyn Jewish Historical Initiative again to say a few, Terry Holliday actually. Terry Holliday, former director of MOVA, the Mayor's Office of Veterans Affairs, and a great partner and friend of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for your service, sir.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm a veteran, United States Air Force. As I take a look at what we're doing today, I'm really going to walk away with our Brownsville Ascend scholars who got up here and spoke and sang for us today, all right, in front of the FDNY Color Guard. When you wear a uniform, when you put up with sacrifices, whether those sacrifices involve combat, whether they don't, and a lot of it is humanitarian stuff that we do. When you have like the tsunamis in Japan, okay, every once in a while something's happening in Central and South America, and it's our ships, our helicopters, our hospital ships that are going over there. That's what we do, all right? But when we take a look at Memorial Day, I don't think about the folks who, I guess I do, but I don't. I'm looking forward to do things that were created by their sacrifices. Their sacrifices to keep us free, a wonderful society. Yes, we have challenges, and there are things that we need to continue doing. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here talking to you today. I just want to share just something with you from Cicero. And it was something like, the life given to us is very short, but a well-spent life is eternal. If you mention a person's name, that person will live forever. And that's what we're doing here today. I hope that we can continue to come back to this park and see good things happening here, and we'll continue to do better things here. But this is really good. Somebody who's been absolutely great with us in putting this thing together, this event together, excuse me, is the Honorable Darlene Mealy. She's a member of the City Council. This is part of her turf, and she's going to say a couple of words to us today.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. On this Memorial Weekend, we are honored to be here. Let's give our students a hand, please. Our scholars are awesome. Waving, we have princesses there too. I just want to say thank you to New York City Chambers of Commerce for inviting me to this worthwhile event here honoring our World War I veterans, and pay homage to the ones who are no longer here today. As we gather here at Zion Square in the neighborhood of the Republic of Brownsville, which we have home of many World War I veterans, a diverse group that is including Jewish, African American, Italian, Latino. We are humbled as we remember the dedication and sacrifice of our fellow countrymen and our veterans and our veteran organizations. We have to think about it. The triangle here on East New York Avenue and Legion in Brownsville was called the Zion Park, as early as 1911. Zion Park Memorial always have been here. They call it the War Memorial list, where it lists so many local heroes that died here. And the space was renamed at one point as Lowe's Square because of the Lowe's Theater right here. Y'all know that, right? And then when the Lowe's Theater shut down, they renamed it as Zion Triangle again. So here it is now. Each of our World War I memorials in this neighborhood, as we mold, they are really about, it's not really about war. You could think back, it's the author Sal Snyder. He was the author of Out of the Fire and Valor, the War Memorial of New York from the Revolution to 9/11. Say, Mr. Snyder, they are about the community that sacrificed their children. Most of the young men and women, children of immigrants who have come here by boat less than 20 years earlier. And all the immigrants, all of us are immigrants. I just read a book and it said all of us are immigrants. It was only where you got put, the boat stopped at. Some got stopped in Trinidad, some got in Jamaica, we all are immigrants here in New York City. As elected official, I am honored to be here today. And I think about, I make sure for the last 8 years, I've been doing Pearl Harbor. Sometime I was the only elected official in the city doing a real big World War II event. And I'm gonna continue it, because we have to think about our freedom. And freedom is not free. People paid their lives for freedom, for us to walk around and act like nobody paid the price for us to be here. So I just hope that our young people take advantage of this day and remember all our World War veterans, our fire department, our Army, our Navy, everyone, our Air Force. We have to all say thank you. And I hope all of us can take a moment out today, no matter how big or how small, call his office. Make sure you do something with the fleets that's coming in. I would have been over there, but I said, no, it's more important for me to be here in my district, making sure that the community know that we are strong in Brownsville, respecting and honoring our war veterans. Thank you so much.
Good morning. I represent two entities, actually, the Parks Department as well as the New York City Working Committee of the U.S. World War I Centennial Commission, established by Congress to, for the next several years, to promote our understanding and remembrance in a more meaningful way and broader understanding of that war, the Great War, so-called Great War, that affected people across the nation and, of course, deeply affected every neighborhood in New York City. Today we honor those from Brownsville lost in that event. I oversee the monuments collection citywide, and it's about remembrance. It's about creating in permanent form something that causes us to remember, but all too often we don't remember. We ignore this past, as you've heard, and I thank those who organized today's event for reinvigorating this site, because we need to do so in many different ways: storytelling, song, school children in the learning of history, the connection over time between generations. We see in our park system an obligation to the past and the preservation of that past. I am here to announce that some good news, that largely through the Department of Transportation, in fact, this entire area come fall will go into construction for a renovation of the site to make it a place of hospitable to human beings, to improve access, to produce pedestrian access. I believe there's about $4.5 million so far allocated. We need more. We need more for the monument in particular. There is money in the budget to do work on this limestone monument. Behind the monument, we're going to remove the tall fences. What you're going to have is a low-lying amphitheater that can be used by the school children in the community for public performance. There'll be more sympathetic plantings, better pavings, and so on. I won't go into all the details. I'm sure that, I hope there'll be other events like groundbreakings and things like that. But I do want you to know that. It's also my obligation to tell you a little bit about the monument and its own creation. It's by the sculptor Charles Carey Rumsey. And Rumsey was a well-known sculptor. Those of you who've traveled by car over the Manhattan Bridge, as you exit Manhattan, you'll see the buffalo hunt on the Manhattan Bridge. That was by Rumsey. He married a woman named Mary Harriman. She was the eldest sister of a man who later became governor, Governor Harriman. And indeed, we have Rumsey Playfield named for her in Central Park, where they do summer stage. Rumsey served in World War I. He was a captain in the 77th Division, and the architect for this monument, Henry Beaumont, served in the American Expeditionary Force, the AEF. He survived the war, but he died in a traffic accident, if you can imagine this. Maybe the Safe Streets folks and Vision Zero people, they needed him back then. And so he didn't actually live to see his own monument created, and the job was taken over by a studio assistant, an Italian immigrant, Edmondo Quattrochi, who finished the monument in 1925 when it went up. And of course, it symbolized both the loss, the perseverance, the victory over evil, and the protection of our freedoms, and it reflected the immediate neighborhood. I'd like to close with one quotation that was from the sponsors on the day it was dedicated in 1925. And they said, "The design itself does not alone symbolize the guaranteed freedom of our nation, for the very names that will be inscribed upon it stand for toleration. The name of Sullivan will follow the name of Solomon. A Jew, a Catholic, and a Protestant are recorded in one panel. A Negro's name is in juxtaposition to that of a white man." And so this monument was about the unity of people and the remembrance of those who've served. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a homecoming for me because I grew up swimming in Betsy Head Pool. and I saw my young uncles go off to the Second World War here. They thought it was a lark. You know, they were 17 and 18 years old, and my uncles and my cousins went off from Saratoga Avenue and Bedford Avenue and St. Mark's Avenue, and thank God they all came back. And I have a picture here of my father-in-law, Jack Schwartz, Sergeant Jack Schwartz, 1916, who then went from Brooklyn to Fort Taylor in Kentucky, where he met a lady named Betty Barnett, who turned out to be his wife, and he stayed in Louisville and had my husband there. And my husband served in Korea as a lieutenant, and so we have a whole history in my family of service. I would also call to your attention the fact that when we talk about Fleet Week, I was working at the Port Authority. The USS New York is coming in to the harbor this week. It has in its bow 7 tons of steel made from the Trade Center after 9/11. And we remember not only those who gave their lives willingly and fought for us, but those who gave their lives doing their daily lives and serving themselves, their families, their country. At the Trade Center, we remember those who died in terrorist attacks all over the world. I would like to just say, I'm placing a stone. In Jewish tradition, we put a stone up instead of flowers so that those, when we leave a cemetery or a memorial, we leave a stone so it stays and people know we live and stay forever. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for inviting me. My name is David Goldberg. I am the son, the grandson of Russian and Polish immigrants who came to this country in 1901 because of the fact that they were being persecuted because they were Jewish. They came here and they were afraid because they didn't know what was going on and how to react to it. It took them many years. They finally realized that they were in the greatest country in the world, where government was not the threat that it was where they came from. When I went into the military and I went into the Army and I went to Vietnam, my grandparents went from being afraid to being proud because of the fact that I was involved in something that was protecting this nation. The veterans that we honor here today were residents of this community, of the Jewish faith, probably the same kind of situation. They were either immigrants from other countries or children of immigrants from other countries. And they were proud. And they gave their lives because they knew that what they were fighting for was just so much better than anything that they have ever seen before. This is a marvelous location because it was a Jewish community at one time. Now it is a community that welcomes all. Now, this monument will not only talk about naming the Jews who gave their lives, but it will also stand for every person from every country, every religion, who gave their lives to protect the greatest country on earth. As commander of the Jewish War Veterans, we are proud that we helped sponsor and put this memorial up in 1925. And as the commander of the Jewish War Veterans, I say to you, it represents all veterans. It represents everyone who gave their life. We stand on their shoulders, enjoying the freedom that they gave us. I honestly want to tell you something. I worked here as a police officer years and years ago. It is a wonderful community, and I'm so glad to be back here. And as they say in the Navy, fair winds and following seas to each and every one of you. Have a wonderful life. We'll be here again next year. And God bless America. Thank you.
I would ask Harold Radish, veteran U.S. Army, World War II, if he would come up.
It's a long time ago. Good morning. Memorial Day in my day was called Decoration Day. And I remember the history of it was that the first parade was on Eastern Parkway 149 years ago. I grew up in Brownsville, and as my parents said, Brunsville. We lived at 842 Stone Avenue, which is now Mother Gadsden Boulevard, I guess. I lived there between New Lots and Lot Avenue. I went to elementary school at PS 184, and I went to junior high school on Watkins Street, the junior high school 66. And I graduated from Thomas Jefferson High School on Pennsylvania Avenue. So I'm all Brownsville. I remember the library on Stone and Riverdale, where as kids we met and started the Brownsville Boys Club. And Abe Stark gave us a lot of help. Summer nights, we slept on the roof, because there was no air conditioning in those days, and we called it Tar Beach. Or we went to the Lower East Pitkin to cool off. The fans would blow the cool air off the ice. I left for the Army from Pitkin and Stone Avenue in front of the bank building, which was called the Manufacturers Trust Company. I trained at Camp Shelby in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And I learned of a different world down there at that time. From there, I went to Europe on the Queen Elizabeth, the largest and fastest floating crap game there was. As a replacement, I joined the 90th Division of the 3rd Army. I started in Metz, France. I was at Bastogne, and I was captured at the Siegfried Line, or the fortified wall between Germany and France. Being Jewish and a prisoner of the Germans, I was constantly mentally and physically on guard. In fact, I got rid of my dog tags. I wanted to be either a live coward but not a dead hero, because they had an H on them, which stood for Hebrew. During all of the time I spent in the prison camp, Stalag 12A, traveling in locked boxcars, a lack of food, dysentery, and a baton wrap on my hand, picking lice and getting rid of other vermin, I was lucky I teamed up with a buddy and a true friend. We kept our spirits up. We made each of us get up each day. This friend I remember every day. This man, J.J. McEntee, has passed away and is my real hero. To me, this is his day, Memorial Day. And thank you very much.
I'd like to also invite the students of Brownsville Charter to come up here, because we have a job for you to finish this program. We want you to take a really good look at this monument. So when you're out here every school day, when you're out here on the weekends with your family, we want you to be the teachers. Today's students, tomorrow's teachers. You tell them about this special Memorial Day. You tell your friends and family and people in the community about this World War I memorial and what it means going forward for everybody. God bless America, and enjoy Memorial Day weekend.
We would be pleased to send a complimentary DVD of this program to anyone who wishes to support JBS, the Jewish Broadcasting Service, with a tax-deductible gift of $36, double chai or more, to the nonprofit organization Jewish Education in Media. Simply visit the JBS homepage and click on the Donate button to make a donation by PayPal or your credit card. And please indicate the program for which you would like a DVD. Or you can send your tax-deductible check made out to Jim, Post Office Box 180, Riverdale Station, Bronx, New York 10471. And again, please remember to indicate which program you would like to receive with our compliments. And we thank you for your kind support.